professional investors. They know what metrics to track. They know how to analyze different things. They know what trends to watch. They know what they're doing before they actually place the money. And then their focus is what? It's to get, some form of a return on that investment. So first it's like return of investment. Get the money back, don't lose money. The second one then is getting a return on investment, so that we actually are putting an investment in, we get more than that investment back out, and we can continue to churn. And that's how an investment works. So when it comes to marketing, and I like put that investment hat back on, I was like, that's it. That is the big thing to help me actually kind of connect the dots when it came to understanding marketing, and marketing as an investment from like a real context. What's going on, everyone? My name is Tanner O'Brien here. I am the founder, the CEO of Benefic Marketing. I am a coach, a business coach here with Action Coach in Central Texas. And I'm sitting around and I'm thinking about a little bit when it comes to marketing. And I was thinking really about my top metrics to track when it comes to improving marketing, and some of the challenges that I see out there with many business owners, with any marketers, new to the game, that sort of thing. So, the number one challenge that I've kind of come across, or I've noticed a lot, even within kind of my own marketing over the last couple of years, is not knowing really where the marketing dollars are going, not knowing, which strategies are working, which lead sources are not working, like really being able to decipher that issue. That tends to be kind of like the number one challenge that I see out there. And it's one that I felt, a number of times as well, especially when we were running, 10, 12 different types of lead sources, from online strategies like Facebook, and Facebook ads, Facebook just general content, to strategic partners, networking, referrals, telemarketing, email marketing, like you name it, right? We were running all of these different things, but sometimes it was really difficult to kind of track it back and say where's the actual money going, and which are producing the highest level of return, that sort of thing. So that was like the number one challenge. Probably the second challenge that I see with a lot of like newer, smaller businesses out there, is that there's no plan. There's no plan. They try to just like do marketing as much as they possibly can. So like on all the channels, let's make sure that we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, and the list goes on and on and on. And they're given this context of, well, just be there. You have to have a presence. You have to be doing all of these things, and you really just need to be authentic. Just be you, and there's like no plan behind it, and that tends to be the biggest challenge, because as many of these business owners start to have to put money into it. Now, I'm going to say that cautiously, because sometimes it's not like actual physical dollars. Sometimes it's just time. We can only invest either time or money when it comes to marketing. So one or the other, it's going into this process, and going in with no plan at all tends to yield some kind of pretty minimal results. So first is not knowing where the dollars are going. The second challenge is not really having a true plan of attack when it came to marketing. So I always like to step back. It took me a while to really understand this concept, but it's starting with how we view marketing, how I viewed marketing initially, and needing to shift that mindset to an investment. That marketing truly is an investment. Now, there's a number of different things I was taught along the way, and this was one of them. Marketing is an investment. You got to understand that. But I never really understood it, or I guess what helped for me when it came to understanding marketing as an investment more than anything else was actually looking at the investment field, like looking at when you make an investment in the stock market or something else like that. You work with people who really understand it. What do? They professional investors. They know what metrics to track. They know how to analyze different things. They know what trends to watch. They know what they're doing before they actually place the money. And then their focus is what? It's to get, some form of a return on that investment. So first it's like return of investment. Get the money back, don't lose money. The second one then is getting a return on investment, so that we actually are putting an investment in, we get more than that investment back out, and we can continue to churn. And that's how an investment works. So when it comes to marketing, and I like put that investment hat back on, I was like, that's it. That is the big thing to help me actually kind of connect the dots when it came to understanding marketing, and marketing is an investment from like a real context. So putting that professional marketing hat on and saying, all right, if marketing is investment, what do I need to know? How do I need to look at things? What things do I need to track? What do I need to understand within the realm of marketing so that I can ensure that at minimum we get a return of investment? That was the game changer for me. So today, I really just wanted to take a few moments, not to just sit here and articulate different challenges that we see, or challenges that I have experienced when it comes to marketing, but talk a little bit about kind of defining a few terms, defining a few metrics that I think is important to start tracking and paying attention to in marketing. So that's where I kind of want to take this conversation today, is just talking about what are the things that we should be looking at, what are the things that we should be tracking, and how do we define them for our business. So I want to start with leads. Like, what are leads in general? I like to start by defining this into different categories of leads. So we look at them from a lead, just like simply put, lead, and then you get into marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads, and opportunities. So there's kind of this stair step, or this funnel all the way down. But what are each of these? How do I define them for our business? Now, we're a professional service based business. We tend to have longer sales cycles in general. So I'll say this cautiously. I'm going to define them for me. For you and your business, you'll have to define them potentially a little bit differently, just depending on what your general flow is in your marketing. If you're a e-commerce retail that sells something with an average price of a few bucks to 15, 20, 30 bucks, something like that, you may not have all of these steps. The lead all the way to opportunity happens in such a rapid rate that it doesn't necessarily make sense to really define each one of these. But I want to give you the context. I want to spread it out enough so you can kind of look at where does this fit for you. So the first one is lead. Lead then is really just like a way, somebody that we have a name, an email, and a phone number. Like, somebody's name and a way to contact them is probably the simplest way to put what the definition of a lead is for us. Doesn't mean that we've necessarily had communication with them yet. Doesn't necessarily mean that we've had, they've really kind of, raised their hand or said that they're even interested in the things that we do. But we have a way to contact them. So that could be, buying a list, buying a database from somebody else that has a list of names, list of emails, list of phone numbers. And we know that they're kind of generally within our target market. That could be a list of leads. It could also be, the number of people that we have following us on Instagram, as an example. That could be a list of leads. We could, we actually have names and we have a way to contact them by direct messaging them on Instagram. Like, that, by definition, for us would be considered a lead. Now, we don't really want leads. We want something a little bit further down the funnel. So we want marketing and sales qualified leads. Marketing qualified leads, by our definition, then, is some level of engagement. So they've actually opted in. They've had a two-way conversation with us in some way, shape, or form. So let's say we connect with somebody on Instagram. We send a direct message. They respond, and we have that two-way communication established. Now they're engaged with us. That, for us, becomes a marketing qualified lead. They're now in kind of our sphere of influence. We're starting to have those conversations. We can take that conversation to the next level. So those are marketing qualified leads. Now, you can do the same thing with email, phones, all that kind of stuff. But really, that two-way communication, we've got a level of engagement happening back and forth. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are even qualified to buy, let alone are ready to buy. So then we have this next phase, which is called sales qualified lead. And sales qualified is exactly like it sounds. Like, they are qualified for a sales conversation. They fit within our target market. They're engaged. They have a desire and a need to buy something from us. Now, by definition, they become sales qualified. We kind of use an acronym called BANT, B-A-N-T, to be able to articulate what makes a sales qualified lead a sales qualified lead. So BANT stands for budget. B is for budget. They have the budget to make a purchase. Now, what's kind of cool about this is, you might say, Tanner, well, I've got, some products that are $10,000 a month and other products that are $5 a month. They may not be qualified for the 10,000, but they might be qualified for the $5 thing. Well, in that case, then, it may be, you may have different levels or different tiers of sales qualified lead. I know that's kind of what we've gone to in our business, is having different tiers so that they are in the appropriate sales conversation down the road. They have budget. That's the first piece. The second one is authority. They actually have the authority to make a purchase decision. Probably the easiest way to kind of think about this is, a spouse as an example. There's been a number of times where, one of the objections in a sales process is that, well, I always make all of these decisions after I talk to my spouse. Well, okay, well then who has the authority to make the decision? Is it the two of them together? Is it just the other spouse? Because at the end of the day, we need to know who that authority is. If we are talking to someone that has zero authority to make a decision, then they're not really sales qualified by our definition. So first one is budget. Second is authority. Third one then is need. They actually have a need for the thing that we provide, and ideally they've articulated some of those needs, but they have a need. And T is for timing. That fourth one is timing. Is this important to them today? Have we helped them identify that there is a timeline that they really want to have this challenge handled and a solution provided? So BANT, budget, authority, need, and timing are kind of the four things that we go through. If we hit kind of all of those check boxes, then we get to classify them as sales qualified in kind of our marketing qualification. So as you can see, like going from lead to marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead, they're like getting further down this sales funnel, and they're becoming more and more qualified and like more of the types of people we want to really be having conversations with, because they're the ones that are most likely to buy from us. Then the fourth one is opportunity. An opportunity is simply just like the sales conversation. So this could be an actual sales meeting. It could be like the moment they actually, look at it and consider making a purchase. So again, depending on your sales cycle and how all of that's structured, there may be multiple sales meetings if you have a really, really long sales process. But that opportunity is really just the sales meeting. It's that sales conversation, kind of taking them all the way through it so they actually can make that decision then to buy. Sometimes we will have sales qualified people that just aren't ready to have that sales conversation yet. Maybe this week's not good, but a month from now is. It doesn't make them not sales qualified. We just haven't gotten to that opportunity phase yet. So that's why we kind of break down from lead to marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead, and then opportunity is the sales conversation. So that's leads. Really understanding the definition between leads kind of helps track things a little bit tighter within the business. We used to only do leads and then sales, and it was like, well, at what point do they actually fall off? At what point do they become a little bit more qualified to do some business with us? Which is why we've kind of shifted to this. Let's elongate that. Let's make it a little bit deeper so we can track and understand what's actually happening within our marketing funnel. The next kind of thing that we take a look at then is the sales, both by volume of like number of sales and volume of dollars. So I say this because when you start to look at things by lead source or by lead strategy, so take networking versus referrals versus paid ads, right? These are three different marketing channels that you could be leveraging in your business. Knowing which ones provide the highest volume of sales and then which ones provide the highest volume of dollars in sales. Sometimes they will correlate and they'll be the same. Other times you may be selling a ton of volume at a really low price point, and those lower value items within your business through this one channel, but this other channel has a really, really small number of actual sales, but their average sale is so high that the dollar amount is much higher there. And then we can take a look at that against the investment that we put in and start to look for a return. So being able to track both of those is kind of key as we start getting into what metrics to track within our marketing. There's a handful of metrics that I think are kind of important to start out with. There's 100 different ways that we can track and measure marketing. These are kind of my key that I make sure that we look at least for every single strategy, both macro level at the business and then kind of within each lead source or lead strategy. The first one's gonna be cost per lead. And I do break this into cost per lead, cost per marketing qualified lead, cost per sales qualified lead. So I take those lead definitions that we talked about earlier, and I actually look at what is the cost for me to achieve, a singular lead here. And you'll kind of see that number tend to go up over the course of MQLs to SQLs to opportunity, et cetera. But it's really just your cost, your total investment for like the month. You take I put in $5,000 into my marketing this month, and I got 10 leads, right? So or 5,000 divided by 10 gives you that cost per lead. That's kind of how you calculate that. So cost per lead is the first one. It helps us kind of backtrack, at least at a very basic level, to know, all right, we need 15 leads this month, or we need 15 MQLs this month. Well, based on historical data, I know that on average, that is going to cost me this much per lead. So this much per lead times 15 leads now gives me the budget that I need to actually go and attack and get the leads that I need for this next month. So it allows kind of that future planning. The next one is client acquisition cost, or CAC. This is how much does it actually cost to acquire a customer? And it's your total amount invested. So that same 5,000 over how many sales that you got. So if I got, invested 5,000 for the month, I got 2 sales. It cost me $2,500 to get those new customers in the door. This one's probably more important than cost per lead, but cost per lead is a good starting point. Client acquisition cost is once you start getting some sales, things like that is a really important one to be tracking, because it will tell us very quickly if we're on path to making money or not. As an example, if it cost me $2,500 to purchase a lead, essentially, I acquire a lead for $2,500, like I did in the example there. But I only make $1,000 on that lead, then I'm losing money, and it's actually not a good acquisition strategy. We need to work on kind of bringing that acquisition cost down, or we need to focus on bringing the average amount that we make off of these customers, these clients. We need to increase that over time. So client acquisition cost. Cost per lead, client acquisition cost. The next one is the average dollar sale. Depending on the industry you're in, that may be average dollar sale. That may be average order volume, or AOV. It could be average cart value. It could be average ticket sale. But it's basically how much on average does an individual spend with you. So some may spend $1,000. Some may spend $15. But what's the average overall? And the easiest way to calculate this is your total number of sale, or your total sales dollars divided by the total number of clients or customers or new sales. So as an example, if I collected $1,000 in sales, and I had 10 clients or 10 sales to make up the $10,000 sales, then I know that I've got, $100 per average sale. Again, some might have been a little bit higher, some a little bit lower, but on average, that's kind of where those numbers come up. So average dollar sale, AOV for average order volume, average cart value, those types of things. Then we move into kind of the big ones, from lifetime value, which is the amount someone spends with you, a new customer spends with you over their lifetime. So if they come back and they buy from you, 10 times in their entire life, and they spend on average, $100 each time, then you've got, $1,000 is how much that you make off them over the long term. Lifetime gross profit then is a little bit deeper. So instead of just lifetime value, which is how much they spend with you, lifetime gross profit is essentially how much do you make on each one of those. So if you have cost of goods, if it cost you something to provide that service or create that product, you don't actually get to take home the amount that they pay you. So knowing how much you keep over their lifetime is really where lifetime gross profit comes in. And then we've got return on ad spend, or the return on investment overall, which is simply the dollar amount that you created in sales over the time period. So I had $10,000 in sales this month, and I invested how much? $5,000. All right. So 10,000 over 5,000 is going to give me a 200% return on investment. Those are the big ones, right? There's a number of different things that we can go into when it comes to tracking and measuring and doing a lot of different things within marketing, but these are the big ones. These are the ones that I have put into a spreadsheet and I look at every single day, by strategy, by everything that I can measure it by in our business. Or the businesses that I'm a part of, simply because these are the things that are going to allow me to understand what's happening, which strategies are working best, where can I make some tweaks, where do I have the biggest area of improvement, and we can make some important decisions in order to continue to move the business forward, to look for ways to scale, things like that. So to start, all of this is great, Tanner, but this was a ton of information. Like, where do I get started? What do I do to get started? I recommend just tracking these things at the macro level to get started. Don't worry about by strategy. Don't worry about by team member or anything else like that yet. Just focus on tracking this in the business for the next 6 weeks. Don't try to change anything. Just get the optics. Just start like understanding, all right, I need to track the number of leads that came in. I need to look at, how many were sales qualified? How many opportunities did I have? How many of them actually bought something? How much did they spend? Let's just get these numbers in a spreadsheet where we can take a look at it consistently, week over week over week, because that will allow us then to take a look and say, all right, based on the information that I now have, where can I have the biggest impact with the decisions that I can make in my business? What can I actually do, change, and affect to be able to move my business forward a little bit faster? So just track it. That is like the place to start. Once we have the macro level stuff, then we can start getting into by lead source, by team member, and all of those sorts of things to go a little bit deeper. I'll tell you, this process saved our business. When we started to go down this path and really look at things even by a lead source, we were able to very, 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 very quickly and very clearly see, hey, there was like 3 lead channels that were working really, really well, and there was 1 or 2 that we were using that we were losing a bunch of money on. But now we could see it, so we could cut off the ones that weren't working, double down on the ones that were, allow those to become profitable. And then that gave us the ability to invest in some new strategies down the road. And that is really like the art of leveraging the numbers and the data within marketing. So these are the places to start. Hope you liked this. Give this a like, give me a subscribe here. If this is something that resonated with you, feel free to share this with your other business partners, your business friends and colleagues and acquaintances out there. But we'll continue to kind of keep coming back, sharing some more marketing and business data and a whole bunch of other stuff that comes along with it. So enjoy. That's all for now. And we'll see y'all soon.